and welcome to the Two Spool for School podcast. I'm your host, Lo, and this is a knitting, spinning, dyeing, crocheting, weaving, all the crafts podcast. So if you have hung out with me before, welcome back. It's so good to see you again. And if you're a first-time viewer, welcome. I hope you can find something here that you like. It's been a few weeks since I've recorded, so I've got a ton of FOs to show you. So yeah, let's get into it. First, let's open up a beer. It is officially September, which means it is Oktoberfest season, and I will be drinking Oktoberfest until they go off the shelves. It is probably my favorite beer. So yeah, Prost. All right. You know what I forgot? The one thing I forgot to bring down? My notes. So give me 1 second and let me go grab those and I will be right back. All right, got them. Okay. So you may notice we're in a different area of my house. That is because right now my craft room is a disaster zone. Just didn't feel like cleaning it. So here we are, down in my little nook corner in my dining room. So the first finished object we're going to talk about is also what I'm wearing, and it is the necklace top. Get up, give you a little bit of a look at it. So, ooh, look at that with the light coming in. Don't I look so fancy? All right, so this is a pattern by Naama, and I knit it out of Knit Picks Dedication. No, Luminance lace in the color Dedication. Let's see if you can see the back. This is what you hadn't been able to see while I was working on it. It's got this nice open back. And underneath I'm wearing my Ripple bralette. Still trying to work out what exactly goes best under this. But I'm really happy with the way it came out. Used under 100 grams of yarn. It only took 80 grams of lace weight yarn. So it's always nice to have a really budget-friendly pattern like that, a little project like that, where you can squeeze it out of, in this case it was two balls, but 100 grams. Our co-host is sniffing around at the back door, so I may need to let her out in a little bit, but we'll see. We'll let it ride for a little bit until she gets howly. So yeah, this was a really lovely pattern. I knitted on size US 3 needles, so, and then the lace weight. So yeah, it took a little while, but I'm really happy to have it off the needles and on my body. So I knit the size extra large, I believe, or I think I knit the size 2XL, but my gauge was such that it was going to give me the size for the extra large. So yeah, that's that one. All right, so next finished object is a crochet one, and it is my Brisa hat. So this is a little sun hat that I crocheted out of raffia, and it is Hobbii Rafaella in the colorway Eggplant. And this pattern is, again, called the Brisa hat by Raquel and Isabel Vidaurre. And I crocheted this with a 4.5 millimeter hook, and it ended up using all 200 grams of the yarn that I had bought. I actually had to pull out the last round because I ran short. So very happy with the way that this came out. It's got this really cool shell feature here, and then it's got these scallops on the end. So yeah, I wore this kayaking on Labor Day. I think it looks really cute. Probably bring it to the beach with me. My mom and I are doing a end of summer beach trip. So yeah. So that's that. All right. Next finished object are my spring blossom socks. So I have both done. Yay! And I got toes and everything. Ta-da! So this is the one that I was working on most recently. Hide my face so you can see those flowers. But yeah, so these were fun little stash busting socks. So the main yarn is Rico Design's Superba 4-ply superwash in light brown. And this was leftovers from a sweater that I did. Can't remember the name of it, but it had a big ram's head on it. A really fun sweater. The color of the flowers is an Alpaca Polwarth silk handspun that I knit up a Paris in Berlin shawl that I showed you a few months back. The heel is River's Edge Fiber Arts Donegal Fingering in Thistle Down. And then the pink toe down here is Fiber Nymph Dye Works Bedazzled Base in Fuchsia. So yeah, I'm very excited to not have to read those names out ever again. So, yeah, these were fun. All right, so we're moving right along. I think the next FO is the last one you've actually seen as a work in progress, and that is my Mount Pleasant tee by Megan Nodecker. So yeah, this one's a little bit of a tale of woe. Even after 20 years of knitting, I'm still learning things. So nothing wrong with the pattern. I've knit the pattern before. This is actually the first pattern that I have knit twice because I liked the first one that I made so much. But I used a different yarn. And so the yarn that I used is Go Handmade Tencel Bamboo Fine in black, and that's from Hobbii. And it is such a drapey, beautiful, silky smooth, really, really nice fabric. Unfortunately, even though it's a fingering weight, I probably should have realized that it's a very light fingering weight. So when I wear this, it's see-through. So yeah, it's not really the look I was going for. I'm going to be playing with what undergarments I can wear with it so that it doesn't look awful. But unfortunately, I have not figured it out yet. So, but again, really fun pattern. It's got this little lace scallop at the bottom. Yeah, and it was a really quick knit. Yeah, a little bummed that it's kind of unwearable right now. But I'll figure something out, and I will keep you updated with what I figure out. But yeah, that's the Mount Pleasant tee. All right, so what do we got next? So this is an old work in progress that I didn't show you. I started this before I started the podcast, and I hadn't been working on it because I got to a point in it that I was kind of scared. I just didn't know what to do with it. So this is really my first crocheted top, and this is the Totum tee by Nomad Stitches, and it is in a Handspun Polwarth that I dyed myself. So this is a Grellow colorway that I dyed. I'll put in a picture of what the fiber looked like when I dyed it. But yeah, I thought I was looking for something. I think I only had about 500 or 600 yards of this yarn, but I really wanted to do something garmenty with it. And so I was looking around, found this that fit the bill, and went for it. So I am not a good crocheter. I'll just say that right here. I know that a lot of the things I've shown have been crochet recently, but that's a pretty new development, honestly. So yeah, reading the pattern, reading a crochet pattern is like very different from reading a knitting pattern, in my opinion. Yeah, this one came with a chart, which really helped. I found that reading a crochet chart actually makes a lot of sense, because my biggest issue in crochet is finding what stitch I'm supposed to be stitching into. So yeah, this, I think my gauge is off, because I'm not very good at crochet. It turned out a lot wider than I expected, and the place where I got stuck was doing these sleeves. So there's a chart for the main body of this, but there isn't for the sleeves, and I was getting a little bit confused about how they were being put together. So you kind of make this triangle at the bottom. Hold on, let me hold that better. You make this triangle at the bottom here and work out till it gets to the underarm, and then you work the front and you work the back, and then you work them together at the top. So the sizing was looking kind of crazy when I was working on it. It was looking very big, and the top did end up coming out a lot bigger than it intended. It's supposed to be a pretty close fit top, and then it's supposed to have ribbing at the bottom that cinches it in. So I just went ahead and skipped that ribbing at the bottom, and wearing this more like a boxy tee style, and it's actually really cute. I just found this had like a million ends to weave in. I guess I missed this one. So and because it's a non-superwash Polwarth, it is starting to felt a little bit under the arms, which I'm okay with. But one of the problems that I'm having, and I would love if any of you lovely viewers have any experience with this, is my bobbles aren't really bobbling. So hold this up a little closer. So if you see, it's got this V of bobbles right at the neckline, and they just kind of don't want to stick out. So yeah, anyone has any tips for making those stick out a little more? I just manually do it, but it's not the, it doesn't last. So yeah, but all in all, I'm happy with the finished product. It looks pretty cute on. I'll put a picture of me wearing it. I don't know which side I'm gonna go. You'll know. It'll be a surprise to me. So yeah, that's the Totum tee by Nomad Stitches. All right. So the next finished object that I have a ton of video of me making, and this is the Cram and Dent Scarf that I had been planning on making with my Energized Single Handspun. So the green, it looks, when you have it far away, it looks mostly green, but it's a ton of colors. It's green, yellow, teals. It's a merino and sari silk fiber from Spotted Circus that I intentionally spun as an Energized Single, and then I sized it, which if you'd like to see that process, I'll put I think it would be this side. I'll put the iCard up there. And yeah, so I wanted to see what would happen when I wove it, and then put it in the water, and all of that energy comes back and it all slooped in. So this is all hand spun. So basically the way that I warped it up, I used my rigid heddle loom, and I used a 10 dent heddle, and I did 10 ends of the Energized Single, and then 10 ends of a merino silk from Paradise Fiber that I got in one of their, what are those called? Fiber of the Month clubs. I used to subscribe to that, and they're amazing. I just stopped because I got too much fiber. So this was the Game of Thrones colorway. This is He Who Knows Nothing. So I had spun that as a lace weight, and I spun that and the coordinating color that was, I think it was Mother of Dragons, which was a light blue. Actually, it's in here as well. It's this one. And so I knit a whiteout shawl from Melanie Berg. I'll put in a picture. But I had some leftovers, so I doubled up the lace weight for the next 10 ends. Oh, so I did 10 ends of the energized single, then I skipped 10 spaces in the dent, and then I did 10 of the lace weight doubled up, and then I skipped 10, and then I went back to the energized single, and I alternated that way. And so then when I was knitting or weaving, I would pick one of my handspuns, do about an inch worth or 10 picks, whatever that worked out to be, because they weren't all the same size. Did about an inch of weaving, then left an inch, then did an inch of weaving with the energized single, left an inch, and then continued on that way. So I've got a lot of really fun interactions in this cloth. I don't necessarily think that this is a beautiful fabric, but it's a fascinating fabric. And I'm happy with the way it looks, but it's not 100% my style. But I love what the fabric did. And so all of this puckering and the very 3D nature of it. This was one of my first handspuns that I did in my handspun class that I took. This was one I intended to submit to the state fair and didn't end up doing it. This was a Zwartbles and silk cabled yarn that I made some mittens out of. This is that same lace weight in the warp. And then, this one is a Rolag set that I had made myself. That I ended up knitting some fingerless mitts for a friend out of. And I think that that's all the different yarns in here. So yeah. And then at the ends, for the fringe, I did a little macrame fringe tie. Hold on, the other side's actually better. Just this little lattice, which I thought was kind of cute and kind of mimicked all the big holes. So, yeah, Cram and Dent Scarf. I think I might end up submitting this to the state fair this year as a handspun weaving entry. Pretty happy with it. So, there's that. Got next? Another weaving. And then it's actually right above me, right here. So this is a little wall hanging that I wove this week on this little IKEA loom that my friend Jamie gave me. I've been playing a little bit more with wall hangings, weavings, so I don't know what more to say about it. We've got a bunch of different yarns in there. This one is one of my favorites for weaving. This is the Bernat Blanket Big. It's just so much texture. This is Hobbii Ribbon Jumbo. These are just some ribbons. This is yarn someone in my knit group gave away that I thought would be really fun for weaving. This is saffron from Drops. So I think it made a really, I mean, I had to like really thick it up to get this nice fringe, but I think it came out, the fringe came out nice. I did a little bit of lace here that I just had. See, the problem with these little guys is it's gonna totally make me feel justified in all of my hoarding feelings. So I'm be like, but I could just put that in a little weaving. And so like I had really gotten away from having these big chunky novelty yarns. You know, when I first started knitting back in the early 2000s, it was really common to work with those. And I thought I'd gotten away from it. And now I'm right back in. So yeah, this is some of that first hand spun up here again. This is some pineapple fiber from Paradise Fibers. Excuse me. Yeah. Anyway, and I found a stick outside. And Brian says the stick's too big. But I liked all of it. I thought it was pretty cool. So it's just living behind me. So, all right. So my last, second to last FO is a felted item. So this is my first time ever felting. This is the Chloe hat by Cindy Pilon. And yeah, it's a little, it's supposed to be like a 20s style little, what are these hats called? I'll put it on the screen because brain is dumb. But yeah, so it was knit and then felted. And so this is how it came out. Yeah, it is still a little big. Well, it's a little tall. It makes me feel like a little German boy. Like, I guess it's good for Oktoberfest time. But it's got this little, so the yarn is Dropped Snow in dark petrol. So I basically made this in the same color as the sample. And it's got this little cute little knot detail over here. One of the biggest problems I had in making this is when I felted it in the wash, I put it in with a towel. I didn't really think about the color of the towel, and it was a light colored towel, and it left so much lint on the hat, and while it was felting, it stuck. So you can kind of see it on the inside what I'm talking about. So I spent hours just picking the lint off every part of the hat, which was really unpleasant. So I think that may have kind of soured me on the hat a little, but it's still cool. I bought another hat quantity of snow to do like she has a bunch of these felted patterns, and they're all really, really cool. And I bought it to do a fedora, which I may or may not do. We'll see. I may save it, do some other felting. I've always thought felting wasn't super my look, but hat, I mean, this is a very classic, made me feel like a milliner. So, yeah. So that's that. That's the Chloe hat. And then my final, where were you living? My final FOs are dyeing FOs. So I dyed some yarn. So this is Knit Picks Upcycle Reserve. It's 100% wool worsted. And this used to be the color Amarillo. And I knit the Milk Stout sweater from Thea Coleman. last year in it. And when I ordered the yarn, they accidentally sent me one extra skein. And also I tend to not use all of the yarn when I make a sweater anyway. So I had 3.5 leftover skeins. So I took the 3 full skeins and I went ahead and dyed them this beautiful wine burgundy color. Oh, it's coming out so nice on, I mean, it's nice in person, but it's coming out really nice on the camera. So, and I have the intention of knitting the Ribblesdale vest, which I will pop a picture on the screen. Out of this, I have more than enough, and I'm really excited about it. I just think that this would look really nice. So I used Jacquard acid dyes, and I think the colors that I used were purple and burgundy. I think I have the recipe in case I want to recreate it. So yeah, there's that. And then I went ahead and dyed that Drops alpaca silk that I bought I showed you guys a while back. So this is that. I'm never gonna focus because it's super fuzzy. My intention with this is to stripe, to hold this double with this yarn. So this is Knit Picks Stroll Fingering in Raven Tonal. And I have a sweater's quantity of this, so I'm going to be holding this and the black version of the alpaca silk, brushed alpaca silk, and stripe it and make a Daily Rituals cardigan. No, Daily Rituals pullover. So really excited about it. I think I did a pretty good job of picking up some of these colors in this yarn without going too dark, which was my concern because I still wanted there to be a lot of good contrast between this and the black. So yeah, I am dying to cast this on as well as this. These will definitely be my next 2 cast-ons. So all right, so that's finally it for FOs. Jeez, we're like a half hour in. And I would stop putting hats on and destroying my hair so that I can stop fussing with it. Yeah, let's take a drink break. All right, so works in progress. So I got some new works in progress to show you. So my first one that I've been working on, I think I've shown this bag before, but I will show it every time because who doesn't love this hunky pinup guy? So cute. I am working on the Vellicore by Andrea Mowry. So this is what we've got so far. So the pattern is technically worked in the round, but it's basically a garter stitch pattern. So I said I would rather seam than purl. Although it is kind of a 3x2 rib ends up kind of being, so you end up doing some purling anyway, but yeah, it's coming out really cool. So the black color is Holst Garn Tides in Raven or black. Did I write it down? Raven, yes. And then the color, the contrast color is a handspun that one of my first handspuns that I spun up, and it is a excuse me, a Targi, and I spun it as a fractal, and the fiber was from Fiber Nymph Dye Works, and the color was Pinwheel. So it's all these greens and purples, and then for the second contrast color, I'm using Knit Picks Palette in Mineral Heather. This is a fascinating color. I really, really like this. It's got so many different really nice heather. Just a really, really fascinating color. So I don't think it's ever gonna, oh well, I'll hold it back here. So yeah, I've got probably about 6 inches left to go on this panel, whether this be the front or the back. They are both knit the same way, so it does not matter. Probably shouldn't say that behind the thing. You can't hear it. They're knit the same way. So, and then this pattern doesn't have sleeves, although I'm considering possibly adding sleeves. We'll see. This is just a little woolly and warm to really be good as a summer or spring outfit in North Carolina. So yeah, we'll see. But yeah, it's a really fun pattern. It looks so much different, like back here. If maybe I can get some of the detail in on the stripes. Yeah, really happy with the way it's coming out. So that is Vidaurre. My next work in progress is living in the classiest of project bags, my little Crown Royal bag. And it is the Live Summer Top. So this must be the podcast of me not knitting things to pattern, just deciding I'm going to make it up as I go. Cause, oh, sorry, I gotta not, I guess it doesn't really matter right now. But anyway, this is a little bralette top that has this cute knot design in the middle. And the pattern has you actually knit the band last and seam it to the bottom. In the opposite of what I was saying with the Vidaurre, I would rather not seam and I would rather pick up the stitches. So read a few Ravelry project pages that did that. I agreed, thought it sounded like a good plan. So this pattern is by Johanna Schutz, and the yarn that I am using is created for you by Laura, her shimmer stash in the color Daffodil. And this I bought at Stitches Midwest in 2019. So this has been yarn that has been marinating in the stash for a while. I had intended on knitting a Rizzo blouse by Poison Girl Knits, Poison Knits. And it just never came together. I was concerned. I've knit her, oh, what is it called? Well, all of her patterns are gorgeous. I love all of them, but they all have negative ease. And there's something about, maybe I'm choosing too small of a size, but I feel a little uncomfortable in these negative ease patterns. I don't know. They don't look on me the way that I want them to. So I do want to play around with it again, especially because now my body size is a little different from when I knit like the first one that I knit. That one definitely is going to be way too negative ease. I may have already given it away, actually. Maybe not. But yeah, but I'm really happy with the way this is coming up. This is my nighttime knitting because it's very mindless right now. It's just a 3x2 rib. And yeah, it's getting a little cooler here. We're getting our fake fall. So in North Carolina, we're definitely going to get hot again. But right now it makes me want to, because it's a little cooler, makes me want to knit on things that are more fall appropriate. So, but I would like to get my last summer knit out of the way. for when it inevitably gets 90 degrees in October. So yeah, that's the Live Summer top. All right. So my next work in progress is another brimmed hat. This is just what I'm feeling right now. So this is the Clio wide brim fedora. It does not have a wide brim yet. It will. And that pattern is by Jess Copum, and it is a free pattern. And yeah, so everything has dog hair on it. I got to about this point and put it on. So the yarn that I'm using is World of Yarn Java in charcoal melange. This is a Hobbii yarn, and I'm using a 5.5 millimeter hook, or an eye hook. And excuse me. The yarn that she uses in the pattern is also a tape yarn. This is a tape yarn, but it is Lion Brand Rewind. And I think it's a much thinner tape yarn, because I was not getting the gauge. And if you look, I mean, I am a crazy tight crocheter. This is bulletproof, you know? There is no going down in gauge from here. So yeah, I just basically took her gauge and took the measurements, and I'm trying to match them by the measurements. So her pattern says for the large size, I think you were supposed to have 4.5, I don't know, some size for the top, and then once you get there, you start doing the straight down bucket part. So I got to where she had said, and I got all the way down here, put it on my head, it wasn't fitting. So pulled it all back out, which was heartbreaking. It wasn't that much work. It's just crochet is harder for me. So got back up, about 3 days work, got back down here, and now I am just on the second round of what the brim is. So yeah, should be done with that by the next time I see you. All right, so what else? The Ava dress fabric that is on my floor loom has been getting a little bit of love, but nothing to write home about. Still looks the same. I'll insert a picture. And then my Don't Panic shawl has seen absolutely no work, which I might be getting back into that, because that might be another thing that I'm submitting to the NC State Fair. So I better get my butt moving, because I think it's like October 8th is the day that everything needs to be in their hands. So today was the last day that you could actually submit entries, and so I did it yesterday. And yeah, I have a few things that I need to finish, or at the very least, they all require 2-inch swatches, which is very annoying, because I don't always do a full swatch for when I swatch, but I will usually do 4x2. So, and it needs to be uncut. So yeah. So the next work in progress is my spinning work in progress. So I finished the 4-ounce, half of the 8-ounce braid on this bobbin of the merino spin from the fiber was called Not Socks Yet, from the fiber studio at Yarns to Die For, and the color was Carolina Wren. And so what I did with this bobbin was I took half of the braid, stripped it down to like about finger width, and spun it up. And then I took the other half of the braid And I finally found my, if you were with me last episode, I was searching for my onion holders to make my hackle, and I did it. So it's, that doesn't need to be there. Not very pretty. I use this Lowe's yardstick as part of it, but it does the job, and I will insert some video of me doing some fiber processing on it. Yeah, it's pretty fun. It took a little bit, it's a little bit of a learning curve. So the first thing I did, didn't go straight in with the fiber I wanted to blend. I did a little, some merino chunks that I just bought for blending and other things. So I practiced with those, did a really small little sample, and then went into blending my fiber. So I'll put in a picture of what the fiber looked before it was blended. So I've got my little salad strainer basket here, and this is what it is looking like. So yeah, it's really pretty. I just blended this up today, and I got a little bit spun. If I can put this somewhere safe. Grab my spinning wheel. So that's what we've got so far. So yeah, you can, let me see if I can hold these. You can it's kind of hard, I think, on camera to tell the difference. And especially at this part of the bobbin, but you can tell this bobbin, the top bobbin, definitely has more color changes, and the bottom one is way more blended, although it still has some very distinct heathering, but I'm pretty happy with where it's going. So I basically figured I needed to get this done so that I can do some of those state fair spins that I just talked about, that I submitted for but haven't actually done. So yeah. And then my last work in progress is a sewing work in progress. I think I hid so I am making my fall shorts because, again, North Carolina, we need fall shorts. And I am making the Chataigne. I Googled the pronunciation of this because I'm friends with Camille of Deer and Doe, who is the sweetest, most lovely person I know. And she's French, obviously. Maybe not obviously, she's French. And all the Deer and Doe patterns are French words. So I always feel like such a goober saying them to her because my French is le terrible. So, Chataigne, it means chestnut. Looked it up. So I've got this poly lycra moleskin. It's a stretch suiting. So this is my leftovers. I've cut out my pattern pieces and they're sitting right over there staring at me. So I would really like to get those sewn up in the next week or so. Anyway, the Chataigne pattern has this really cute little scallop bottom. That's the one I'm going to be doing. I'll put in a picture right there. So yeah, looking forward to that. I think this and this, yeah, that's going to be a really pretty outfit. So I'm excited. Working on that fall wardrobe. All right. So that is it for works in progress. I have a few acquisitions, and then we'll do very quick life stuff, and I'll get you on your way. So, my good friend works at one of my local craft stores called Craft Habit, so she keeps me well informed of when things go on clearance. And so they have been putting the Jacquard acid dyes on clearance for a while, and I bought a bunch, and then she told me they lowered them more, so each of these were $2, which was a great deal. So I made myself, sorry, I just bumped the mic. I made myself a list of all of the colors that I currently owned and basically picked up every single one that I did not have. So we've got periwinkle, we've got fire red, chestnut, ecru. This was the one I was like, when am I ever going to use ecru? But, you know, $2, might as well have it. Watch, it's going to be my favorite color. Brilliant blue and Kelly green. So, pick those up. And then right next to those, we're sitting these Sublime Stitching embroidery transfers. They were just so cute. I don't know where I will use these, but I had to have them. This one is Craftopia. This one is Roller Derby. Literally could not turn this one down. And this one is Rock and Roll. So these were $2 each also. So, and they're just iron-on embroidery patterns. So I've got a very funky jean jacket that I may stitch one of these onto, although stitching onto jean sounds kind of unpleasant, so we'll see. And then I went over to Michael's to get frames, because we had bought some artwork at some of the conventions we'd been at, so I needed some frames for it. And while I was there, I just was like, I just finished that weaving, and I was like, chunky yarns. So I looked in their clearance, picked up a few clearance chunky skeins. I got this one, the Chunky Luxe Big. I got this color, which is light pink. And I got this color that is dusty pink. These are basically just like acrylic rovings. So they're really cool for doing, oh, what's that stitch called? I've put it on the screen because I'm a big doofus. But yeah, these are really good for that. So those two, and those were $5 each. I got Chunky Twist, and this is in light gray, I think. Yes, light gray. Also $5. These are all $5. And then these two skeins, macrame colors. So this is really fascinating. These are like a chainette yarn, like a really thick. I don't know how it's going to look in macrame, like the design they have on the thing. I think it's hideous. Come on. It's droopy and stupid looking. But so I don't know how this will be to actually macrame with. I'm so new to macrame that I don't know. But I think that in a weaving it'll be really cool. I may try to macrame with it. I think like a spooky Halloween wall hanging, something with these, the gray and the black might be fun. So yeah. And then I also picked up, while I was there, this pony bead lacing. So everyone and their grandmothers have been talking about barber cord or SOS cord. Lots of people call it different things, but it is basically the stitch saving cord where it's a cord that it's a tube where you can put your needle. If I can take one of my needles. Come on, where's the needle? Aha. So you basically put the needle in the tubing like that. And then you can slip all of your stitches off of your needle to try on your garment. Or also you can just use it as stitch holder. Yeah, but they tend to be kind of pricey for what they are, I think. This is coming from someone who is very cheap and basically will do this instead of buying a hackle. So I thought it might be fun for a video somewhere down the line to do all of my DIY fiber tools that I've made over the years and how much money I've saved and how good they've ended up versus like the actual tool. Comment below if you'd be interested in seeing that. I think it'd be a fun video to make. But yeah, so the problem I've noticed so far on this is it's pretty small. And so this is a size 2 needle. 2.75 millimeter. But it's not a problem necessarily with that. It's that I'm a very tight knitter. So there is not that much difference there's not that much room for the stitches to kind of flow onto this. So I think, and I thought about just putting a smaller needle on and then moving it over. This is probably not the best project to try that on since it's a 2. I don't know that I have a smaller needle that will attach to my Chiagu cords in this size. So yeah, I've yet to try it out, but it glows in the dark and it was $5. And it actually came with, I think it was like 3 or 4 different colors. I don't know where the other one went. Oh, it's actually in here, one of them. So I got green, I got pink, there's like a lighter pink, and like a white. So my thought was if this worked pretty well, I was going to cut them up and give them out at my knit night because I like sharing. And that's way more than I would ever need. So yeah, that is that. I believe that is everything that I have purchased recently, other than the two huge purchases, not fiber related, that I just made. One is in my backyard. We had major renovations done in the back. We had this unusable hill. We've been living in this house for about six years. I bought it at what I now know is the perfect time to have bought a house because prices suck. So yeah, we've been very lucky, very, very thankful that we live where we live and in this house that we live in. But yeah, the backyard was like completely unusable. So we had them put in a very nice stone retaining wall. And I'll put in some photos or some footage right here to show you what it looked like before and what it looked like now. And so now I've been planning out plants, which is not my forte. I want to have a greener thumb, but it has been pretty black in my my past. So had a friend help me out. He took me to a nursery, told me what would be good. So we picked up a few. We got a butterfly bush and salvia and a blueberry bush, which my mom told me I need 2 of apparently, to make blueberries. That might be more space than I wanted to allocate to blueberries, so we'll see about that. But yeah, so that was, it took them about a week and a half to finish the work, which I can't believe. I mean, just light speed to me for what they did. And we're just over the moon happy with how it is out there now. So that was my big purchase, very big purchase from last, I believe it's been like 2 or 3 weeks now that we've had it done. And then today I got my email for my Steam Deck. So put in for that earlier in the year. For those of you that don't know, Steam Deck is a handheld gaming computer that I think it was released last year or maybe earlier this year. Has been very hard to get your hands on. Wasn't expecting to spend $500 today, but I guess here we are. So hopefully that'll come soon. And yeah, I am going, I think I mentioned earlier, I'm going to the beach with my mother this weekend. So she lives down in Charlotte, North Carolina. We're going to go over to Wilmington. So that should be nice. And yeah, I'm going to wear my big floppy hat and sit on the beach, drink some beer. I haven't been to a beach all year. Maybe not last summer either. So it's been a while. But yeah, that's all I have going on in my life. So I am going to tell you where else you can find me on the internet. I am Crayon Disaster on Ravelry and Textilia, and I am Crayon Disaster Knits on Instagram. And I hope you guys have a fantastic next couple of weeks, and I hope that you touch as many soft things as you possibly can. I will see you on the flip side. Bye!